How's it going, guys? Coffee here. Today I wanted to go over how to start playing on Frost Iris on a very extreme budget. I'm talking under 40 FE. You can kind of get started on this build. This is me basically playing here almost entirely naked on this character. You're already getting 150 million DPS. And if you want to look at what we're using here, this is with just a straight level 20 Frost Spirit with +2, which is basically nothing here. And then, yeah, so we have a little bit of CDR. We were kind of testing the exact breakpoints of this, but pretty much what we were testing and found out that you can actually make the 4-second cooldown version of this work. There are very specific CDR breakpoints that you do need to be hitting. I will include a spreadsheet with the exact breakpoints that you need to be hitting on this. But pretty much what you're looking for is after your additional percent of CDR that you need, your total CDR that you end up needing to be hitting is about 184% in order to be getting roughly 1 attack a second on these, and that's how you're going to basically be getting, say if we were to just basically swap to my weapon, or I guess we can just put my slates back on a little bit, say if we were just trying to simulate you guys having like a couple +1 slates. Here's going to be a +1 cold, and this will count as like another 2 slates basically here. Say these were the slates you had, you were able to get +3 levels on your slates here. Then you're already going to start to see the damage kind of go up significantly. When you see the gear I have, so I mean this is just the 3 levels off of the slates, already takes the gear or the damage from, you know, the 150 million that it was all the way up to almost 300 million. We actually this is the weapon we're using for this test, by the way. This is basically a little bit of minion damage, some cooldown reduction, and that's it. If you actually move yourself up to like actual real weapon, you're going to see the DPS on the character just like skyrocket even further. Like you're already going to be pushing yourselves upwards, you know, as you can see here, already pushing 1 billion, roughly something like that. And this is a character that's basically naked. So if you look at the gear, everything, none of this gives damage. This doesn't do anything for the build, neither did the boots. These rings here, if you're buying 80% growth rings, you can get these for under 5 FE each, or roughly 5 FE each. You just want to get these with this 80% growth here, and then you want to just buy the chest. If you're just buying a blank version of this chest, it's, as you can see there, 3 or 4 FE. And then basically you're buying this memory, and then the other memories you're using, it doesn't really matter. I'm using Sealed Mana and Spirit Magus and Empower skill effect. You can use the same thing, though when you're starting out, you're probably going to need some cooldown reduction ones in order to hit your breakpoints, but those are going to be easy enough to get. So let's kind of go over what you're going to end up needing to do in order to basically start off as this character, or make this swap like right after you get into maps. You are going to need to be able to get to your full points in Warlock. This is going to be the tree that you need to use specifically because you need Indifference here. You need this additional cooldown recovery speed. Once you have this additional cooldown recovery speed, the amount of CDR that you total need basically in your tooltip here is going to be roughly 107. We don't need the 138 that we have in here. I can take these cooldown candles off here and showcase that you're still going to get the same amount of damage. I had taken points out of CDR here just to kind of showcase, or I was kind of testing around to find specific breakpoints. But let's go ahead and make sure my tooltip is where it needs to be here. 107, yep, this should be enough here. So, oh, that's actually with the weapon on. I gotta swap the other weapon off. Okay, so with the other demo weapon we had here, we got 82. In interim, you can get right here, you can get some CDR on your belt here. You can just buy like a 12% CDR belt. There's going to be a couple FE if you need it. Price check here, you can see they're going to be just a couple FE. This is specifically for 12. If we look at ones that are like 8% CDR, these are going to be, again, just a couple FE each. And then you, again, if you need extra cooldown reduction, you can just get it here by throwing on a cooldown reduction hero memory here, and you can get a little bit of cooldown reduction here on your relic as well. So let's ensure we're getting to 107%. That's going to be 104. If we pick up this 14% spot here with the spirit magic cooldown, that will be enough to actually still get us to this breakpoint where we're still hitting that like 160 million or whatever it was before. Yep, so right there, 160, 200 million, something like that. And as this is still just getting started, like any gear that you have, your character will be already better than this because you'll actually have rolled your rings with some minion damage, or you'll roll your weapon with like some actual real stats on it outside of CDR. So in order to get this started, the two things that you do need to buy, as I was saying before, you do need to buy a weapon here with this tier 1 cooldown reduction. If you can get one with tier 0 cooldown reduction, it's highly recommended. But if not, just go ahead and start with one of these. So when you go to search for one of these, you want to be searching for exactly 39% cooldown reduction, or minimum 39% cooldown reduction at least. And then you can use Truth Embers to get that percentage up if you need to. But so if you want to search here, you're searching for this 37 here. And if you look, the price check on these are going to be not very expensive. They're going to be like a few FE, like right here, 3 FE. Perfect starter staff. You can start with one of these. You pick up the staff for under 10 FE. You pick up the memory for 25 FE, and then you're pretty much already rolling from there. In regards to setting up your skills and your traits, what you're going to want to do while your energy is low, you probably won't have 5 points in this. You will end up having your 5 points here instead. I guess I should roll the energy on this staff because it's got none. I can't give my example. Where'd that staff go? I just get something in it. There we go. That should be enough. So your gear doesn't need to be perfect by any means, but you are going to want your 5, 4, 5 points down here, or 5, 4, 6 rather. These are going to be your most important points to start off with, just because you are going to be wanting to run this full setup here with Energy Fortress, Seal Conversion, Protection Field, and Defense Layers. If you want extra defenses, you can turn Biting Cold, and you can run this as Forced Start instead. But pretty much it's going to be the same setup that we have for anything else. You do want your Elemental Shock, Mania, Pain Amplification, and Cooldown Reduction here. And then you're just going to have Blink, Quick Mobility, Magic Dash. Biting Cold with Terrain of Malice is good if you want extra damage. If you want extra defenses, again, you can run that Forced Start. And then you want to be running Nourishment of Life, Cooldown Reduction, Extended Duration, and Mania. You can put Rhythm on this if you want to have less buttons to click. And then other than that, you want Dazzling Bloom, Cooldown Reduction, Extended Duration, and Pain Amplification. For the things here, again, Auto Defense with an Energy Fortress setup on Seal Conversion. And then we're going to be running Elemental Amplification, Frigid Domain, and Magical Source. And then you have your Summon Frost Spirit setup here with Savage Growth, Harvest Time, Elemental Duo, Freeze Chance, and Servant Damage. Just to showcase just how good it can be still. I mean, this is still going to handle T7s and everything just fine for you. We're going to go ahead and what we're running in here. This is, this was with Loot Pets, by the way. This wasn't any damage. Let's try to get myself at least some resistances here. I think I have this. No. Like, I thought I had a setup that had some more elemental resistance, but this will be okay. So the only thing you are going to notice with this build, without using Exquisite Box, you are going to basically be almost playing the piano. So you're going to be kind of like rolling your hand across 4 buttons on your keyboard, or 5 buttons even. But I mean, it still is going to clear faster than probably even like an Ignite version. I mean, definitely for 50 FE, you're going to be getting better for your money's worth. And then the best thing about this is you can scale it into a much... you're going to be able to scale this all the way to everything, right? You're going to be able to start off with this on this budget version here, and then you're going to be able to take this and you will be able to buy the better memory at some point after you get the rest of the gear. Though we were testing earlier, and you can actually hit the breakpoint even with the 4-second version of the memory with just Exquisite Box in order to get yourself to be doing like 2 attacks a second, which is roughly what you're going to be getting with the 3-second version as well. You just have to scale into a little bit more CDR than the other build. But I mean, as you can see here, because the frost is so strong at actually just killing everything on the screen or freezing everything for you, the defenses are really good, even though I'm running around with negative resistances over here. Like, the damage I'm taking is basically nothing still. For the traits here, it's the standard same setup with God of Machines. You're just picking up all this cooldown recovery here, and then same thing with Alchemist. You're picking up all the cooldown recovery. I pick up this ailment stuff here, but this is for more advanced stuff that you can see in the other guide I have. You don't need to be running that at this point. And then we have this tree for Warlock, and then for Statue of the New God, you just basically are going to be aiming for all of these slates here. You want to buy a slate with +1 cold skill level, and you're basically trying to roll +1 skill level on it as well. In the meantime, or in the interim, you can start off by buying slates or corner divinities with just +1 cold skill level or +1 passive skill level. Those are both typically gonna be pretty cheap. So you can pick up a few of those as you get yourself started. Those are typically gonna be like under 10 FE each. So if you have any other questions about the build or getting started, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And other than that, see you in the next one.